The ladies of The View are in big trouble with the FCC, the Walt Disney Company, preparing to battle the U.S. government. And who would they be employing as their soldiers in the field? Well, of course, the audience that tunes into The View, because they're the perfect people to battle against the Trump administration. It's a glorious day. It's a great day. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming our way, where we continue to endeavor together to keep you ahead of the culture curve. As we dive in, click that like button and click it. Stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Talk about picking a fight with the wrong soldiers. The Walt Disney Company is determined to wage war with the United States, a battle royale with the Trump administration. And who are they going to send? The audience of The View. Oh boy. Marvin writing this one on thatparkplace.com. If you're not yet bookmarked, well, you should be. Disney urges The View audience to defend the show against the FCC. No, really? This is real? What is the... Oh, it says Disney is taking an unusual approach in its ongoing fight with the Federal Communications Commission over The View, turning to its daytime audience for help. According to a new report from Variety, Disney and ABC have launched a campaign urging viewers of The View, but I repeat myself, to submit comments to the FCC as the company battles regulatory scrutiny surrounding both the daytime talk show and several ABC-owned television stations. It says, The View has welcomed your favorite guests for nearly 30 years. Now the FCC wants to control who is allowed to appear on the show. Tell the FCC to let the viewers decide. You have until July 6th. Act now.
Not give your opinion. We're telling you exactly what to tell them and when you have to tell them by.
Well, folks, why would the FCC tell The View who they have to have on? Lauren, it's because Disney decided to label The View as a news channel or as a news program. And they did that, I believe, because that lets them say it's the number one daytime news talk show on network TV. Because there's a grand total of 2 of them. Because that's how many, layers to those caveats. And now the FCC has something to say, because they're like, wait a minute, if you're a news program, you can't have 99.9% liberal guests. You can't do that as a news program.
Right, and I would offer that as the correction. It's not that they're trying to tell you who you can have on. They're saying, at least my understanding is, if you have a person of this persuasion on, then you have to give equal time to the other side.
Yep.
That's not preventing you from booking somebody. That's saying if you book A, then you also need to book somebody from B.
Well,
so the choice is still yours.
We saw what happens now when they have a Republican or someone in the Trump administration on The View, because Joy Behar was nice to J.D. Vance.
She was smitten.
Got chewed out by Sonny Hostin and Anna Navarra about it, which is absolutely insane. But I just sent you in the back channel, Brendan Carr has kind of fired back, and I think what he's doing here is gathering the counter to this argument, because you see in this tweet that he put up on X, he said, Disney wants the FCC to classify View as a bona fide news program under federal law. Doing so would exempt The View from the politically equal time requirements. What do you think? Is The View bona fide news? And essentially that is... He's doing different than what Disney has done, because Disney's like, tell them you think this, and he's like, what do you think, public? And so that way they can get all the people that say no, it's not bona fide news.
Exactly. So remember, Disney is trying to declare it bona fide news because they want it to be the number one daytime news talk show, but daytime only goes from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. That's the slot that is daytime news. There's only one other show. I think it's The Chew. Sure. Okay, but before we go any beyond this, I got a show, because you brought up that they're trying, I think, to defend against this, and they brought the vice president on. So I think they're actually they defended against the FCC by bringing in the vice president.
And he did great.
And it didn't go well for them. And now I don't want to call the ladies what I was going to call them. I was going to call them cackling poultry, but that gets Lauren excited when we do that. They're losing their minds because they didn't have a good time with him. Here we go.
President Trump said yesterday that he was going to blame you if the talks of the round go sideways. Are you worried that he's going to make you the fall guy?
No, not at all. I mean, I think the president was joking, but as he often does. But no, I think, look, the entire team has worked very well on this, and we've got this thing to a very good place for the American people. Now, I have seen some progressive criticisms of me personally saying, what experience does the Vice President of the United States have with hostile, high-stakes negotiations? And I would point those progressive critics to the fact that just 2 days ago, I spent over an hour on the View. So I actually have great experience in very hostile negotiations.
By the way, there's no laughter from the reporters because they don't get the joke, because they take the View seriously.
Yes.
Play it again.
Over an hour on the View. So I actually have great experience in very hostile negotiations, and I've used that. I mean, look, Joy Behar is way tougher than the Iranians, and she and I are best friends now. So we're going to get to a good place. We're going to get to a good place.
I have got I don't know, it might even be in the article that, yeah, I think it is in the article that you just had up, a picture of Joy Behar looking at JD Vance. And fellas, get you a woman that looks at you the way Joy Behar looks at JD Vance.
Well, we're going to play the clip, and what you all need to know is they are fighting mad. The girls of The View are fighting mad at Joy Behar because she didn't do what she was supposed to do, which is tackle the vice president. And now he's telling people that they're BFFs as he talks about Iran.
Okay, so in the book, Mr. Vice President, you make a mea culpa of sorts for calling Democrats childless cat ladies.
Oh, man.
Okay?
My most boneheaded comment.
You say that in the book, that it was boneheaded, which it was.
Thank you.
What were you thinking when you said that?
So Joy said when we were off air that I'm fine, which I think is about the best endorsement that I'm going to get out of Joy Behar for a Republican. Thank you. I appreciate that. Graded on a curve here at The View. But, you know, I guess one of the things that I try to do, and I'm always, you know, all of us are always learning. You know, you said you were a lapsed Catholic. I'm a bad Catholic. I think all of us, that's why we need grace as Christians, is because we recognize that there are certain things we got to work on.
Right.
But here's what I'd say about that. So did that comment actually shed light on something and start a discussion, or did it just close people down? And when I make a comment that just closes people down, instead of trying to appreciate the point that I make, that's a mistake, right? And that's on me to do better.
Okay,
because can I just say, the point that I'd say on that, Joy, is I do think, in a very subtle sometimes in a more profound way, I think our country has become more anti-family and more anti-child. It's harder to travel. It's harder to go to a restaurant.
Mr. Vice President, you know your grandchild is arriving.
No grandbabies yet.
Not yet. We're very excited for you and
So Joy didn't get the hit that she was supposed to. And if we can find that image that Marv was talking about, right there. Get
you a lady that looks at you the way Joy Behar looks at JD Vance, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh boy.
I've seen that look from Hocus Pocus when the girls were looking at the child.
She actually kind of looks like Winifred Sanderson. But yeah, look, he had, you know what, honestly, what a great response he just had. Because did you hear the thing that he said that's so refreshing to hear from a politician? Yeah, I was wrong.
Yeah.
And he says that a couple times in this interview. And I even think that's something that, you know, it's not something that you hear Trump say very often, that he was wrong. You never heard Obama or Biden say that they were wrong. I think it's refreshing to hear a politician say that they got something wrong. It shows that they're human.
Sure. And Lorne, he stepped into the lion's den and he got the win. I think he came off very well with the audience. That was not expected. But The View is going to have to put on Republicans now. The FCC pressure is forcing this. And the problem is, I don't think the ladies are prepared. You know, they want to project that conservatives and centrists are all evil. It's the abstract play. But when you have somebody like a JD Vance on, it melts away that expectation. And I actually think that if The View is forced to host under the rules of network TV, if they're forced to host people of different political persuasions, the whole reason for the show existing goes away.
I'm not so certain that they actually will be forced to host people from the other political persuasion. I think that they are so committed to their cause that they may be willing to let that news program label slip if they're absolutely forced. But if they don't, I am content, honestly, that these ladies are sharing the stage with the most hallowed journalists of all time. I mean, really, that's not what's supposed to be there. That's what's supposed to be there. Honestly. This is really a striking crew, don't you think?
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, absolutely. Look at them. And I love Joy's glasses made out of stone. I don't know how you do that, but it's impressive. Lauren, when you were pulling this up, this is that Park Place talking about Joy Reid. I think Joy Reid is who they need on The View. I think Rosie is trying out. Rosie is trying out on the Jimmy Kimmel show, and now you got Joy Reid coming out and saying that, nobody celebrates Independence Day. It's all about Juneteenth now. The 250th birthday of America. There's no need to, don't get out the fireworks for that. I think they're going to have to go crazier. I think they're going to go more nutso.
I guess that may be their way of trying to claim that if Joy's the left, maybe they're on the right.
Well, I mean, I would remind you all, Rosie was on The View for many years.
Bring her back.
Let's bring her back. Let's give her another shot, I think.
Oh, listen.
But I will also say what Joy Behar did say in response to the JD Vance thing. I thought she actually had a really good response to when they came at her. She said, "Look, I learned from Barbara Walters that when you have someone on your show, they are a guest in your home and you make them feel welcome." And honestly, that's the correct thing to do.
Yeah.
And to be fair, that may be the neutralizing thing, is that they're used to being unchallenged in their bubble. That's why they get away with saying what they're saying. If they are forced to bring on people from the right, I suspect they will have to be more polite, because
there used to always be one host on The View who was super right wing. Elizabeth Hasselbeck,
super right.
They were the punching bag, and Meghan McCain is
Meghan McCain.
Yeah, she's her own thing. I want to show you though, if they want to replace Joy with Joy, here's the Joy that we would have on the show.
Because in many ways, and with apologies to my dear spicy white friends, because I know that my white brothers and sisters do love a 4th of July. It is Independence Day. Everybody's barbecuing. It's a thing. I can promise you, black folks, we will take that day off. We will barbecue because we off. But black people, that nobody black I know is really excited about the 4th of July, because it is what Frederick Douglass said it is. It is the celebration of slaveholders who freed themselves from having to pay taxes to the crown for their slave empire.
I'm going to say that's probably not what the 4th of July is about whatsoever, but, I would let the division rain down, Joy.
I would love to introduce Joy Reid to Kevin Apollo.
Yeah, that'd be a fun time.
Because he is excited for July.
She would look at him the way that Joy Behar looked at Vice President JD Vance.
Oh.
Andy, I'm going to say that the strategy Disney has now of having the viewers of The View fight on their behalf against the FCC, probably not a great strategy. And I do think, all of this is under Dana Walden, Andy. I'm going to say that Dana is starting to, we're starting to see some cracks at Disney, and Wall Street and tomorrow need to get back on this. Dana Walden's not doing a great job, and this is under her purview. What do you think?
Some people need a healthy dose of reality. And I don't think these people live in reality. I think that they're the viewers of The View, and I apologize if there's any of them out there. I seriously doubt it, because it's, unless they're hate watching. They have their audience, and they have a largely uninformed audience. Unfortunately, the largely uninformed audience will also vote and probably fill out a few extra ballots as well. They're not very used to being challenged, and they're not used to being challenged by someone. Now, and I heard this said one time, I think it was Dennis Prager made this point, that when you're on the left, you're consistently inundated with leftist messaging. So you're not used to being challenged. But when you're more on the right side of things, you're constantly forced to defend yourself. So you actually get pretty good at making an argument and making a valid, fact-based argument. Of course, once you do that, then the usual result is they get very angry, their eyes turn red, and they start swinging at you with something. The View, I don't like the idea of them having to bring on someone like right-leaning, because then you're going to get a Meghan McCain. You're going to get somebody who's like they're not really. And I hate the idea of saying right wing, because the Overton window has shifted so much. I would challenge a college student today, if you just gave them John F. Kennedy's inaugural speech to read without attributing it to John F. Kennedy, they would probably swear it was Donald Trump. They wouldn't be able to make the connection that it was actually one of the. Look, we live in a time where Bobby Kennedy, a Kennedy for God's sake, is considered right wing. That what is right wing today is, like, as I look back at my own life, and I'm almost 60 years old, the only things that I've modified my views on are like social, living off of social welfare and abortion. That's the only things that I've changed my views on, which typically happens as you get older. I still believe that all people deserve dignity. That, like, if it's not neither picking your pockets or breaking your bones, it's not my business. Don't tell me how to live, and I won't tell you how to live. But don't make me pay for your choices. That's pretty much how I've always been my whole life, and I haven't changed on that. Now, that used to be considered liberal. Now I'm some kind of like, fascist monster that needs to be destroyed by these people. The View is the banner carriers for these people. I don't believe they actually know the thing. I just saw a thing the other day. Yesterday I was waiting at the airport, and this guy put a video out there about how he had seen the Charlie Kirk incident as this huge thing because he was in favor of it when he first saw it, but it inspired him to actually look at some of the videos, and then he realized like what happened and how wrong he was because he had never challenged himself. And that's the big issue. Now, once you get somebody on there, J.D. Vance, I think, did a great thing. He got on there, and everyone has said this. There's a lot of people that have gone to right-leaning rallies that are like in opposition of it. They just want to see how terrible the people are, and they leave finding out, well, these people actually treat human beings like human beings. And I think The View is getting more and more marginalized. We see it every day that viewpoint is shrinking more and more.
I think you're exactly right, Andy. And I think that if they have more people like J.D. Vance on, I think it's going to completely diffuse the purpose of the show. I think they only can exist the way they do by speaking into a vacuum. And once you put on other folks like this, if you put a Tulsi Gabbard on, who, by the way, was on the left until the left left her, but if you put these other kinds of individuals on to talk, suddenly the preconceived notions melt away. And I think that the postmodern ideas and ideals, suddenly they sort of fade. So that's the story of The View, and that's the story of Disney and their feud with the FCC. Folks, it's not going to go the way of the House of Mouse. Dana Walden, I think she needs to be looked at more closely by the Wall Street execs and the CEO at the House of Mouse. She's in charge of all of this. She's Kamala's best friend. And in the end, she may be leading Disney to the same place that Miss Harris occupied most recently. Well, it's been a good time. It's been a great time, folks. It's been a groovy time, even. Keeping the Hollyweirds in line. We know them better than they know themselves. As we say goodbye, folks, please consider clicking that like button, drop a comment down below, and join the community dialogue today. And until the next time, we say it every time. Keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.